Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wow Women of Worth. And this is we're starting the week with a lovely lady, Avril, for our sessions of lives to celebrate the women in business. So, as someone is already following us, for who doesn't know us or is not following us as yet, Wow Walk the Talk is a celebration of women in business during our festival. And this year, our theme is I Am Human. So I wanted really, Avril, to start the week with us because we are right in the middle of our festival towards the end. So it's ending on the 16th of December, of March. December is still a long way down. I think that starting with the Avril, this topic is going to be amazing time for everybody to listen. So here it is, Avril Adele Williamson, and welcome, Avril.
Oh, thank you so much, Mariana, for having me on the festival. It's indeed not only an honor, but also a privilege. So my name is Avril Adele, and I'm the CEO and founder of the People Practice. And my theme word this year, I'm going to go straight into it, is all about laughter. So I'm going to try to bring a humorous element into people practices, or human resources practices as it's traditionally known. So I'm hoping that my energy will also exude some grace and humility, just being a woman of worth. And I also believe that I'm quite confident around the topic of human resources, as I believe that I am a thought leader here, and obviously wanting to speak more publicly about this and my views. So thank you very much for having me this morning.
This is great. This is great because, honestly speaking, as for who is already following us, women, they know that basically what we portray sustainability. What means to us sustainability at WOW means, first of all, be sustainable ourselves. How can we have a sustainable world if we are not sustainable ourselves? What I mean by this is actually sustainable. The word means being able to sustain. And in order to sustain something else, or somebody, you really need to be able to, you need the posture. That means you have the strength, you have all the capabilities. So what is really making us being sustainable? To us is our main resources, which is ourselves. So the human element. So let me understand what's happening out there. I think our audience is going to be very interested, inspired by what you can tell us about the industry. What's happening out there where everybody's getting crazy about technology, keeping up with technology, and even in the industries, in every industry where the human capital is important, but looks like there are investments in more in technology. What's happening in that industry, in the human resources, and what is the effect of COVID after that in order to have a different approach with human resources?
Okay, so firstly, I think being human involves a range of things. And for me, it's about forming relationships. It's about your emotions. It's also about pursuing your goals and your aspirations. And I think what would make you then human from a sustainable perspective is that continuous process of growing yourself, learning, and just pursuing and fulfilling your own well-being as a human being. But of course, what has happened is that technology has really come to play. But I'm really of the view or the opinion that as much as we have AI and there's so much technological development, human connection and touch is something that would always be there. It will always be a need for us, even around all that technological spin that is happening out in the world. So that's where I play to or stick to, is to say that, yes, as human beings, we need to keep abreast of all the technological advancements. We need to know and understand how this actually assists us in the workplace, in our various areas of expertise. But ultimately, we are human, and we need that connection. We need that touch. We need to operate from an emotional perspective, which we know, that technology or digitization might not necessarily fulfill, in my view, into the future. So I think I would like to maybe leave it at that. And I'm hoping that I've responded adequately to you, Diana.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Marianne.
This is interesting because, we totally agree. We also say here the worth of is coming from through connections. So I really believe what you said, that a human needs connection. At the end of the day, what is making us to flourish is how we are able to tune with each other. My question is, then now, because as you said, the technology advancement is there, how much can stress, by the way, the human resources, so people that are going to be in the working in environment, in the business organization, bigger or smaller, how can technology side can affect the enrollment? So what I mean by this is the fact that is for the recruitment important to know technology in order to be able to gain a job role?
Yes, no, absolutely. In fact, recruitment companies nowadays are using technology, especially AI, to actually see how it is that they can attract the right people with the right skills, for the right place at the right time. And this is all done in the back end, using systems like Resume, where they are able to immediately pick up, or they're able to see exactly who it is that they're trying to attract for a particular function. So let's say, for instance, it is a CEO function. There are a number of skills that are required for that particular CEO role. And as such, through a recruitment system, you're able to put in whatever the skills are that you have, and those are then matched back, based on the requirement of the role. So yes, technology plays a pivotal role in that. Technology also plays a pivotal role, in human resources from just the metrics perspective. I'm a proponent of key sound decisions that are being made in the business around people. And you are required to actually keep a dashboard, and the metrics around exactly how you are doing. So if you want to know and understand what are the engagement levels in the company, if you want to know and understand what are the satisfaction levels within the company, you need technology to help you to drive that. And you need technology to be able to see, through trends over time, how it is that you are doing as a business. So yes, technology plays the huge role in human resources. And for me, the whole employee experience is what also matters and counts. And therefore, the use of the example that I'm giving around employee engagement and satisfaction.
Wow, interesting. But what is also interesting, I think, is the fact that, I think everybody's struggling in the business world now. So the companies would like to have the resources back into the office where there is connection, they can learn from each other. Then actually could be the environment where they can grow and their ideas can come together. They are pushing, and motivating each other. On the other hand, instead, the human resources is, especially the ones that have been working for the first time during COVID, actually are not used to the business environment. So there are two kind of, because I'm experienced with also other companies I work with, the struggle they are having is having them back in the office in order to create this healthy environment for connections and creativity and motivations. On the other side, instead, they want to please them in order that they can do maybe the productivity working from home. So what's happening there to have a balance? Because as I was saying, I have realized that a lot of human resources started their career during COVID. So they are used to be at home in front of their computer, and they are very comfortable with it. Others instead, they say, you know what, I'm scared to go back to the office or go working from office because I'm not used to that. I don't know the rest of the team. So from that connection point of view, what's happening there? What are the investments in order to get a balance? What's happening there? So I'm really curious to know from you.
Okay, so I think where the balance comes would be really understanding the individual person or the individual human being and what is it that makes them tick. So if it is Mariana's preference to actually be in the office versus Avril's preference to perhaps work from home, and these are determined by my personal circumstances, as an employer, I would need to be able to be agile enough and be able to adapt in such a way that I'm able to make absolutely certain, that I therefore please, let me say, both employees. But of course, you need to, the way the balance further comes is that it should not negatively impact, how the company actually does at the end of the day. So I would say that the key ingredient, or the key success factor post-COVID would be to know and understand exactly each employee and what makes them tick at a very personal level. And to me, that's where I would actually look at this balance. Because I think COVID, at least the period of COVID, has taught us how it is that we can still be productive remotely, but at the same time, with the human connection and the human touch issues, I think those would still remain paramount going forward. And, just as such, people would have to, depending on where they are in their personal circumstances. So, for example, if I'm a mom and my children are playing a critical role for me, depending on exactly where I am in terms of my family life, perhaps following a hybrid approach of me being more at home rather than at work would actually stand myself and the company more in good stead, because the company would obviously still need my skills, but at the same time, they would also need to take into account my personal circumstance. So I think the workplace at the moment and what it needs to then grapple with is more of a hybrid type of approach rather than just a one size that would fit all for everyone.
Wow, this is actually answering what we are talking about. When you said that listening to each employee, that's fantastic, means that there is the human element that the companies need to consider, not thinking that they are machines working for them or with them, but actually working together towards a common goal, which is the company growth, where they're contributing and they have the value and they are the resource valuable to the company. So that on this point, then I would like to understand what is then your human element. So what is your business? So you said that you have this program, this people practice. So what do you actually do? What is your mission with your organization?
Okay, so for me, it's more about the employee experience within the workplace. So taking it to that individual level. It's not so much about how it is that I would go out and teach, let me say, other HR practitioners about the functional areas of human resources or the traditional areas of HR, of learning about recruitment and selection, training and development, and career and succession and so on. It's less to do with that. It's more to do with the actual employee themselves and what is the experience that they have as they would enter an institution or a company, and as they traverse through the company up until such time that they exit. That experience becomes absolutely critical, and we refer that to the employee value proposition. In other words, what does the company actually offer a person, through their life cycle of employment? So it then talks really to the employee engagement levels, how the employee is also doing, in terms of their contribution back into the company. So this is really the cornerstone of the people practice and what it is that it has to offer. And ultimately, you know, I guess the key goal there would also then be just to make absolutely certain that we bring about that clarity and purpose through individuals and their contributions into the company, because ultimately we want everyone to also be inspired, everyone to also then have a voice, and everyone to also practice, you know, that joy, inspiration, and empowerment that needs to actually be brought into the workplace. And ultimately, it's really about being more aware of who you also are, first and foremost, as a person. Secondly, be more aware of others around you, those that you lead. But more importantly, it's how we treat each other to ensure that we have an absolutely amazing employee experience and an amazing work environment.
Wow. Honest, this is really ideal, and where your heartbeat is, because at the end of the day, office environment, business environment, if you are looking for connections, means that your heart is beating. That means it has to be excited. There is the passion in there. Otherwise, you are going to be like a machine, as I was saying, a robot that is just fulfilling a position to deliver an output. But this is not what it's about when you want to grow as a company. So what is then your human element? So we're talking about human elements as human resources is within an organization. But you as a professional, what makes you so unique as an individual, in your opinion, that it can contribute to this world?
Okay, so I have been thinking quite a bit about that and seeing how I link it to actually my own life's purpose as well. And really, my life's purpose is to really live a fruitful life, to love deeply and strongly, just to learn so much as I go through my life. But more importantly, it's also about laughing. And for me, laughter is really the most ideal thing. And because I'm quite a serious person, I would say, by nature, and also the profession, I guess, of human resources makes us come across, you know, less lighthearted, if one wants to call it that. And we also have our own jargon and our own lingo and how we speak, etc. So for me, a big element of connection, you know, and just being human is laughter. You don't need a particular language to be able to define that, but just by a person's actions, we can all be from different countries, speaking totally different languages, but we can all have quite a good laugh. So for me, I think that actually shapes my theme for this year. Last year it was to live. And I thought I would do that through traveling. So this year it's about laughter, and I'm trying to see how I can bring that into the work that I'm doing.
Fantastic. And what instead, Avril, you think you're missing as a connection, as a human? So what is really this period, if you are having an experience like that you are missing something as a human being involved or with the head in your business or your personal life? What is something that you say, oh gosh, I should reconnect with myself for this specific reason?
Okay, I think it's more just to do with relationships and how it is that we connect to each other, specifically for me to also create that laughter, and just to see how it is that I can do it in possibly different ways than how we would ordinarily do it. And I'm obviously going to link that back to the workplace. And, you know, just to see how through the employee experience we can create, you know, those deeper opportunities for engagement as we traditionally know it in human resources. So I would say it would be that.
And yeah, so for you told me that your focus is going to be for the year the laughter, but what would you then suggest for human resources to be happy at the workplace? What they should look for in order to fulfill themselves and not fit in a position just to earn money because everybody's needing money to live, but instead covering a position where actually they can thrive and their energy is just there to make them to thrive. So what is your tip would you give, especially younger generations?
Yeah, my tip really would be channel of conversations. Create those channels and try to see how you can engage and question, in a way that brings the joy and the humor, into the interventions that you are putting into place. So, for instance, you might be doing a roadshow, for example, of human resources and the offering that we have, as a business. So how do you bring that light-hearted aspect, into it as you go through your roadshow and you would see, various groups of people, various levels of people, and how it is that you just engage to bring that heart back, as you also said earlier. And you engage in such a way that you not only want to inspire people, but you want to bring that genuine offering, in a much more light-hearted way, in a much more human way. And I'm actually speaking in that way to try also take away, that professional stance that we sometimes have as HR practitioners. Yeah, because I think it would also change the view of who we are as practitioners within the field and how we are also experienced as practitioners.
Fantastic. Thank you, Avril. It was lovely talking to you. And please follow Avril. And she's also working on something else. So I don't want to spoil, but I know that you have a lot of projects. You're trying to channel your energy to your own venture, leveraging your experience as in human resources. So I don't know if you want to add anything in regards, or it's up to you if you want to tell us anything in the meantime.
Yeah, well, maybe just to say that I'm looking forward to, engaging with practitioners in the future, but also just women generally and leaders, because I have a keen interest as well about women. And I believe that we all have something worthy, to offer. And as such, hopefully my programs in future will be able to touch, whoever comes across my program in such a way as well. So to all the worthy women out there, I really appreciate you tuning in and listening in to me. So thank you very much, Mariana.
My pleasure. So definitely we are going to meet again. So this is a platform I'm sharing with the Wow Women of Worth platform. So it's the place where we would like to have conversations with women, inspire, hopefully them with our experiences, stories, but definitely, as you said, building connections, building relationships, because at the end of the day, at any level, in order to grow, we need each other to support each other and grow on that foundation. So if this is the spirits of yours, please, as you said, tune in and follow us. And yeah, definitely, as I was saying, I'm going to meet Avril again. So we launching soon the podcast, and Avril is going to be part of that series as well. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Ciao, Avril.
Ciao. Bye. Ciao. Thank you. Bye.